Welcome back to the Snowpoint Cast. Today we've got a versus match between myself and Trevor Reed. I'm going to be on the left playing Twinboar, the deck that won Worlds in the Masters Division in 2011. And then Trevor's going to be on the right playing a deck called The Truth that got second place at the World Championships in 2011. So it's actually a Worlds rematch. I'm going to get the first turn, get the tails flipped to go first. Tails never fails, baby. We know that. Yeah, so Magnabor, kind of an interesting matchup. When I was talking with Dave, I did an interview with David Cohn that I'll link in the description below. Kind of an interesting interview for sure. But when I was talking to him about it, he said that it's a really volatile matchup, and it really comes down to who can hit their stage 2s first. So I mean, obviously going first is a big deal. David went first in his first and third game, so having that additional turn to be able to set up and find things and be able to hit a stage 2 first is a really big advantage in this matchup for sure. But just being able to hit your stage 2s first, right? Like if you get locked out of candies and The Truth is able to hit Vileplume before you're able to hit your candies into your stage 2s, it can get a little dicey because now you have to find your stage 1s, which, you know, like a Magneton that you play one of or a Pignite that you play one of. And I do have a Magneton in the hand. The start hand is actually looking pretty good. But yeah, so it's got start Reshiram, and I top a Magnemite there. And I'm going to go for an attach on the Magnemite probably because I do have a switch. And I'm probably going to grab a Cleffa with this collector so that I can get a fresh hand. You know, the hand's pretty decent. Being able to have Magneton, Magnezone in the hand is pretty good, but you also want to be getting attaches and it could be just a better hand in overall, to be honest. Like I don't have Candy stage 2. I don't have, you know, like anything that's really crazy. I have 2 turns that I can guaranteed get a Magnezone out, but you really need to like gun for that Emboar, because if you aren't able to find an Emboar, then your whole deck is kind of just non-functioning. So yeah, I'm going to collect her for a second Magnemite, Tepig, and a Cleffa. Switch into that Cleffa, and then probably just going to go for an Eek here. Shuffle my hand in, draw fresh 6. The hand is actually pretty decent if I didn't have that collector, but definitely really good because now I have that option of potentially finding a Candy Emboar or a Candy Magnezone, or just finding more trainers to burn. When you're playing against The Truth or any Vileplume deck, really, you have to play out your like trainer cards as soon as you can because you really don't want them in your deck later in the game. So I do see a Candy Emboar off of that Eek for 6, so that is going to be really nice next turn for sure. I'm going to fall asleep. Tails in the sleep, which kind of sucks. But c'est la vie, sometimes you just flip tails. So Trevor's going to start with a collector. He's got that Pichu start as well, which is really good if he needs to do that. He probably won't because he's got the collector. Yeah, so he's going to go for a Cleffa, Solosis probably. Yeah, Oddish as well, the last part for the Vileplume block. And then he's going to probably just free retreat into the Cleffa and Eek as well. He doesn't really need a playground anymore with the Pichu because he's already pretty much set up. He has one more bench slot, but depending on what his hand is, I don't know what his hand is, but depending on what it is, Eking is probably the better bet, especially if he doesn't, you know, have Rare Candy Plume or Candy Solosis or any of the stage 1 pieces that he needs. So he's got a second Phanpy bench as well, so his board is really loaded now. He's chilling, and he's got lots of attackers as well. So Trevor's looking in a pretty decent spot going into this game. Both are kind of setting up, you know, when both players set up with a turn 1 collector, it's really good. Trevor's going to retreat to the Cleffa for free and then go for an Eek as well. Get the heads on the sleep flip, and I'm going to flip for sleep and hit a tails, unfortunately. But the hand is still pretty good, and it's not that big of a deal. I play switching cards as well, so there's some stuff that I do have an out to hit this turn. I'm going to Magneton as well, so I'm in a really decent position. Going to Pokemon Communication and Emboar. Not even really sure if I need anything off this because I think I'm just going to Collector. I don't really have any other supporter for turn, so I'm probably just going to Collector and maybe grab another Magnemite or another something. Magnemite, maybe a Reshiram. But yeah, honestly, the biggest part about this communication is being able to fail it, because I know that if Trevor has access to a Rare Candy Vileplume next turn, he is going to be playing that and locking me out. And you really just, like I was saying earlier, you don't want to find those dead cards in your deck later in the game. So even if I don't get anything off this comm, which I'm pretty sure I fail, because I already have a Magnezone in my hand, and I just don't, there's nothing else that I really want. I mean, I guess I could thin one, but I'm getting the cards that I need with a collector anyway. So, and I'm going to Eek, so it's really not that big of a deal. So I'm going to Collector. Yeah, going to go for a Reshiram, put it in the hand, and then also probably find another Magnemite. You want to find as many Magnazones as he can. It really depends on what the board looks like and stuff, but finding Magnazones early is great because it lets you draw through your deck to find your fires, and just go, you know, Magnetic draw up to 6, Inferno Fandango 2 fire. I have another 2 cards that I can draw, and if I have another Magnetic draw, I can Magnetic draw again. So kind of a cool combo that you can do there if you have multiple Magnazones out. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a Manaphy, a Magnemite, and a Reshiram. I think the Manaphy and the Reshiram are kind of more just thinning. And I think I'm gonna get an Eek anyway, so I don't even know what the point of that is, but whatever. I might just Eek next turn, yeah, because I do have that Magnezone in the hand, so I'm just gonna wait because that's the only piece that I really need left, and I don't want to Eek it away yet. So I don't even know if getting those was the right call, because now I'm gonna be Magnetic drawing for even less next turn. So I think maybe even just collecting for the 1 Magnemite, as silly as that sounds, I think it is probably right. So Trevor's gonna go for a Sage's Training. This is a bit of a interesting deck list decision in this deck. I think Sage's Training is such a good card. Being able to thin all those cards, you know, you don't need that Solosis anymore because you already have one out. Ross, honestly, just amazing deck builder, and he knows that in a deck like the Truth, where you have a Vileplume and you have so many cards that are eventually going to be dead once you have your lock going, being able to play a card that thins those is really good, just because it not only finds you your resources, but it also thins your deck to kind of prevent having, you know, you don't only play 6 trainer cards, but there are other dead cards like your secondary Solosis line and your secondary Vileplume line if you don't need that, etc. Yeah, he is going to go for the Plume here with the Pokemon communication, so I imagine he has a Rare Candy, and he's going to go Rare Candy Vileplume. I love the art on that Vileplume. Mitsuhiro Arda does the Oddish and the Vileplume and the Gloom actually for this era. Really cool when they have such a good artist doing all the parts of the line. Trevor's going to go for, oh, maybe not. Probably going to go for a Rainbow Attach on that Phanpy. Oh, he's going to go Rainbow on the second Phanpy. I actually really like that because it sets him up to be able to one-shot with the Heavy Impact on a Donphan next turn if he finds it. So that's really cool. And he does hit the Candy Vileplume as well. So Trevor's looking really chill. He just needs to find a Solosis and a Duosion. He's just going to Eek. Really would be nice if he had a Tropical Beach for sure. But still pretty chill, and I do top deck a Junk Arm, which sucks. And you know, this is what I'm saying before, because now I have that Magnezone, which is great, but I'm also only Magnetic drawing for 3, so I probably should have just kept the other 2 in deck. Although it doesn't matter when you just draw like the sun, so I guess I'll just draw Lightning, Fire, Fire anyway. So I guess it doesn't matter, but still, you know, those other 2 cards might have been a supporter card or something that I would have been able to use this turn. So I think leaving those other Pokemon with the collector probably would have been better in this situation. And I'm just gonna go for an Eek. You know, I don't really care about killing this Cleffa, and not to mention it's asleep, so I can't even hurt it. So I'm just gonna Eek again and set up my board a little more. You know, I want to hit some more Magnezone pieces if I can. I really want to find a Rescue Energy. Rescue Energy is a super big deal to keep your Magnetons alive. Just being able to have that Rescue Energy on there, especially when you're trainer locked, it just means I'm not gonna have access to rare candies. So if one Magnezone goes down, which is potentially gonna get one shot by this Donphan Heavy Impact, I don't have access to it anymore, and I would really like to have access to more than one Magnezone in this game for sure. The attacker is just so good, and the hand's pretty good. I do see the Rescue Energy there as well, as the Lightning and a Fire, so pretty decent off of the Eek. Trevor's gonna find a Duosion, which is really solid as well. It means he can start, as soon as he finds a Reuniclus, he can start doing his real game plan here. But yeah, both of our boards are looking pretty good. I mean, the fact that I have a Emboar and a Magnezone means that this is going to be a real game. Trevor also hit his stage 2s as soon as they could, so we both just had really, really solid setups, and we're gonna walk into a pretty dynamic back and forth game here probably. But yeah, for now we're just gonna be eking and drawing more cards. Trevor, I'm not sure exactly what Trevor's doing. He might be eking. Might just be thinking as well. Could have some supporter options that he's not sure what to do. Yeah, we'll see what Trevor's got here. Oh, he goes for an Eek. Yeah, he's eking. Yeah, that makes sense. So he's gonna go for an Eek. And then this seems really weird, but you know, it's not that weird because I'm gonna try to paralyze, and I hit the heads, so really clutch. I get to paralyze there. Not only does it shut Trevor off from attacking, because he's just eking, right? Like, he doesn't have the board set up, he doesn't have a Donphan yet, he doesn't have Solosis Reuniclus yet, so he's just searching for those parts, and I'm gonna go for a collector, do some more thinning here, but yeah, he's still just searching for those parts. So being able to paralyze here, pretty decent option. I don't really want to put the Magnezone up because that's just such a high risk. If he does have the Donphan energy, then I just go down and I lose all that energy for no reason. So that's just really not a risk that you can afford here. So I'm gonna attack with the Magnemite for 20, which I think is a lot better for sure. Then it kind of opens up for some plays with the Reshiram as well. You know, like if I have 2 other energy, I can just kill with the Reshiram next turn, and then still have that Magnemite for later, which is pretty good as well. But the Magnemite's not really doing anything right now, so I figured may as well attack with it. And even if Trevor had, I don't think there's literally nothing Trevor has with the Paralyze. I was just gunning on the Paralyze, and it ended up working out, so that's really nice. And I did have the lightning as my attach for turn, so I couldn't attach the rescue energy this turn. However, next turn I will have the ability to attach that, and Trevor's going to find the Reuniclus, so his board is looking almost fully set up at this point after the copycat. He is still missing the Donphan and another energy to be able to one-shot this Magnezone, but we're kind of in a weird position now where you know, I'm putting on pressure with his Magnemite. At least I'm putting on damage, and Clef has only got 30 HP, so so Trevor attaches to the other Phanpy. Really interesting. If I were to guess, I would think that he doesn't have, I mean, obviously he doesn't have the Donphan because he didn't evolve, but that he probably has another energy in his hand, because then he has the option to do either the Heavy Impact or the Earthquake, depending on what he wants to attack with. Like if he has a Donphan on the single energy one, then he's just gonna move the damage off of the Cleffa. That's really smart. It's really good that he found the Reuniclus that turn and lets him manipulate, and so I don't have to, or I have to hit more heads and stall him out some more, which I didn't do. So he's gonna draw here after a beach and hopefully have a Donphan at this point. I mean, he didn't really doesn't really like have any big board threats. He really needs to find a Donphan. I'm starting to get a little bit threatening. I have a rescue energy on this Magnezone, which means I'm going to get the Magneton back as soon as I am able to kill it. So we'll see what can happen here. Trevor's going to promote the Pichu and go for a Twins now that I've taken a prize. Twins is such a good card in both of these decks. But now that I've taken the first prize, Trevor can just search for 2 cards, whatever he needs. It's probably going to be one of those is a Donphan that he's been gunning for, unless he has one in his hand already. And who knows what else he's going to get. That's kind of the interesting about Twins too, is your opponent has the ability to just pick 2 cards and not show them to you, and it makes it really a little bit spooky, to be honest, because getting to search your deck for any 2 cards is really intense. Really solid, powerful option. But one of those is definitely the Donphan, unless he's got one in his hand. So we know Trevor is going to be attacking with an Earthquake this turn, and you also want to be starting to set up your damage as well. So Earthquake better than Heavy Impact here for Trevor, because he does have that. He's going to be getting that damage on the board. Double Donphan. That's actually probably the best Twins play is the double Donphan. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, just like being able to Earthquake, set your board up with damage so that you can start attacking with Reshiram or Zekrom later. Funny that I was talking about that because it just dropped. And he's going to attach a DCE to that Zekrom so that as soon as... And he's already got a lot of damage, right? So 10 on each of the bench. And he's not going to evolve the Phanpy intentionally because he does want that damage buff. He evolved it immediately before, but then took that back. Smart play by Trevor, just because he knows that the additional damage is a buff on the Zekrom. So being able to have that damage on your board on the Phanpy, and then being able to move it with the Reuniclus to Zekrom after is just a plus 10 that if he would have evolved the Exoskeleton would have stopped that. So really solid play by Trevor, and he does have the Donphan in hand as well, so it means that next turn he's going to be able to evolve Donphan and then Heavy Impact this Magnezone for a knockout. And he is going to kill that Magnemite with the Earthquake and set up a ton of damage, so that Zekrom is going to be doing total 110 after, which is pretty good. I mean, if he gets another Earthquake on the board, then he'll be able to max that Zekrom out, which is great, because then a Zekrom can kill a Magnezone, and that's what you would really like in this matchup for sure. So I'm going to go for Professor Oak's New Theory, draw 6 off of this. Definitely going to kill this Donphan because I do have the energy to do it. But not an amazing board position, to be super frank. I think one of the big parts of this matchup is RDL, or Rayquaza Deoxys Legend. And it's funny because some games I do a brief price check because it's important, but I happen to not do it this game, and it ends up being a big deal because putting up the Clef obviously, because it's up for a retreat instead. But like, I didn't do a prize check this game, and I planned late into the game to be able to take my last couple prizes with that RDL, because I knew that, you know, I get this Magnezone, I'm going to get a second Magnezone, because with the rescue energy, I get the Magneton Magnezone back, so I'm guaranteed hitting at least 2 Magnezones this game, and I was thinking, you know, if I can take 3 or 4 prizes with the Magnezones, then maybe at the end of the game, if I can like find a Rayquaza Deoxys Legend eventually, then I'll be able to clean up the game with an RDL, because RDL is really difficult to one-shot if you're playing the Truth. Like, nothing in the deck one-shots it, and at the same time it one-shots everything in your opponent. Actually, it might be a fully charged Zekrom might be able to one-shot it, actually, for 140. I don't actually remember if it's 140 or 150 HP, but just the late game attack in general, just being able to sweep everything for 150, RDL one-shots the board, everything on the Truth's side, so being able to have that one-shot option late into the game, especially with the Pokebody that lets you take extra prizes, is one of the really big parts of being able to clean up a game against the Truth, and I did prize part of that, so could get a little dicey here, and I do think I make a misplay later, because I discard a rescue energy, the second rescue energy, because I use it to Lost Burn and knock something out, but I should have kept it on because I needed that for a third Magnezone. But we'll see what goes down here. I do have some fire energies here that I have the potential to Inferno Fandango if I'd like to. Really unfortunate. Exoskeleton's such a solid Pokebody. It just means that Reshiram doesn't have that ability to one-shot with Blue Flare, which really sucks. I would really like to be able to use Reshiram as a valid attacker in this matchup. But if you ever hit anything for not a one-shot, it's just awful, because you're just buffing your opponent's Pokemon at that point. And that's really not something that you want to do against the Truth, especially when they have a board set up like this. So yeah, Trevor's just going to go for an Earthquake, big Earthquake, get some more damage on the board, and go ahead on prizes. I don't have a Twins in my hand. Would be really clutch if I did, but... Oh, he's just moving with Rainiclus. Never mind, not Earthquaking just yet. I'm not sure what I'm complaining about with my hand, but I have some decent stuff. You know, I got the energy, the Inferno Fandango. Probably should have just dropped those, to be honest, but... oh, just kidding, that was a Cleffa. I was an Eek. I'm silly. But yeah, so Trevor's gonna go for a collector, just thinning his deck, gonna grab 2 Oddish and a Reshiram. That's one of the small differences between the list that we're playing and Ross's list. This list plays 1 Reshiram and 1 Zekrom, whereas Ross's list played 2 Zekrom. I'm pretty sure Ross played 2 Zekrom for Yanmega, just to be able to hit the Yanmas and Yanmegas for that lightning weakness. But the list we're playing 1 Reshi. It might be an accessibility option. I know the guy who I'm borrowing these decks from a friend named Josh, and that guy also has 2012 built, and he needs a lot of Zekroms for those decks as well. So he might have a low number of Zekroms, and so that's why we're playing a Reshiram. But honestly, it's not a big deal. You just use it for the outrage attack, and the weakness can matter. In a tournament, I would probably find 2, but for, you know, just casual play, especially in this matchup, it literally doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm gonna be forced to have this is a really weird position to be in. I don't want to attack with a Magnezone, because I know Trev has the Donphan in his hand, and he's just gonna kill me, return KO me with the heavy impact, and it's just really dicey. I'd rather not have that happen, but at the same time, I'm also just kind of giving Trevor turns to set up with Earthquake and get that damage on. So kind of a tricky position to be in, but I think I might have to just go in with this Magnezone, yeah, because I got to start taking prizes back, or I'm going to be in a pretty dicey position here pretty quick. And I do have that other rescue energy as well. So I'm going to go for the Inferno Fandango, double on the Magnemite, because I know that once I get counter knocked out, I will have that Magnemite Magneton in hand. And there's the second rescue energy as well that I'm going to put on that Magnemite. I definitely am going to do that later, because that's a very super necessary call. Because especially with the RDL being prized that I do not know about, that I didn't check, the rescue energy is super important. And I do have the first half of RDL, so I'm kind of just praying at this point that I'm able to hit the second half. Gonna magnetic draw for 2, gonna hit a Sage's Training and another Fire, so having that fire energy is actually pretty good. But yeah, kind of a really odd position here, because you have to one-shot everything on the Truth's board once they're set up like this. But with 1 Magnezone, I like, there's a turn that I'm going to be forced to just chill and do nothing. So I did hit the lightning energy as well, which is a super important part of Magnezone. So going to be able to find that lightning to be able to Lost Burn as soon as I'm able to get another Magnezone out. And I benched a Tepig as well, just because I knew I was going to have to sack something. Like, this Magnezone is going to go down. And yeah, you kind of have to prep for that, right? So I benched the Tepig, just being ready to knock out whatever I need to knock, or to put it in the active and have Trevor just knock it out when he needs to. And so I'm going to go for a knockout with Lost Burn here. It doesn't even really matter how much I discard, but we'll just leave those 3 on. Yeah. I guess it actually does kind of matter, because Fisherman can get them back from the discard, but not the Lost Zone. So when this gets knocked out, I guess, but honestly, finding lightnings is harder than finding fire, so I think this is correct anyway. So Trevor's going to bench a Reshiram here. Now he has some multiple options to be able to one-shot this Magnezone. He actually doesn't even need to attack with the Donphan, because I think he has enough damage on his board to just kill it with a Zekrom, which is really, really clutch, and really not a position that I want to be in, because now that he's killing it with a Zekrom, he has that Donphan option just chilling on the bench, still just waiting. And so because he's got that, waiting in the wings, it means that when my second Magnezone comes out, he's got an answer for it, guaranteed. So kind of a dicey position for sure to be in, and he's going to go evolve that Phampi into a Donphan just to have access to that whenever he'd like it now. Heavy Impact's such a good attack against Magnezone. Yeah, my hand's also looking not bad. I'm going to have to stack for a turn, and honestly, at this point, I think I realized like that I didn't have the other half of RDL. Wasn't 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I realized at this point that I'm gonna have to hopefully draw it off the prizes. And so I do have another opportunity to do that in another prize draw, but it's kind of a 50-50 at this point, whether I'm gonna be able to hit the other half of RDL. I do have the one half in my hands, so as soon as I'm able to hit the other half, and I have the lightning as well as a fire, so in a honestly really decent spot if I can find that other half of RDL, because that is a really, really important part of this late game. Like, RDL can just one-shot that Donphan, and then it doesn't have a threat of return knockout, and if I'm able to find the fire energy in a Fisherman, or just finding it in the deck to kill again, then I'm in a really, really nice spot. So Trevor is going to go with that Donphan, not going to kill with the Zekrom there. But I'm not entirely sure about that, to be honest, because he does have the ability to knock out there with the Zekrom. However, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest, because I think being able to, the Zekrom can one-shot a Magnezone anyway, so he does keep that Magnezone one-shot option no matter what he's doing. And I guess that keeping the Zekrom is actually better because the damage cap is higher on the Zekrom. Like, damage cap on Zekrom is 140, with the damage cap on a Donphan is 90, so I think that's actually probably better by Trevor for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna put a Reshiram up and then kind of just chill out, stall for a turn, because there's nothing really I can do here. I have to evolve into a Magneton, and then I have to pass and wait until next turn until I can evolve into a Magnezone. It is kind of nice that I did hit that Magnezone, or Magneton and Magnezone back in hand. I'm still in the game, but Trevor, I mean, the Truth just has such a dominant board position once it gets set up. Like, just looking at what Trevor has, he's got a Vileplume, he's got a Reuniclus that can manipulate damage however he wants. He also has 2 attackers that, eventually when this Donphan starts earthquaking for more, will be able to start setting up even more. And if Trevor wants to, something he can do is move a 3 damage to the Pichu and then bench Suicune Entei Legend, which he's not going to do because he just discard it with a Sage's Training. But he's got lots and lots of options, even if he wants to bench more things. And eventually, after enough earthquakes, both the Zekrom and the Reshiram are going to be swinging for 140. Which is just a really, really dicey position to be in. So he is going to go for another Earthquake here, just get some more damage on the board. Load those Zekroms and Reshiram up, just to be able to have more damage to be able to swing later with them, because that's such an important part of the deck, is being able to manipulate your damage so that you can swing for a DCE for like 140. That's just like such a good value exchange that this deck has access to for sure. And so I'm gonna go for a Twins of my own and just search for 2 cards. And this is where I actually think it's here that I realize that I don't have the RDL, because I'm like, oh, is it in my discard? Oh, it's not in my discard? Oh, that is... I'm gonna give that one a think. I'm not sure what to do now, because that was kind of my late game plan, right? I think it's if you're playing this matchup, it's a really important aspect to realize, is that you have a limited amount of energy and attackers that you're able to go up with, and especially against the Truth, it's playing Vileplume. And so understanding that, I had the one Magnezone, and now I have a second one, and I'm gonna need something else to clean this game up, because I know for a fact that he has enough damage and he has the Reuniclus out that he can one-shot my Magnezone back if I'm able to kill this Donphan. It's just a really uphill situation, and Rayquaza Deoxys Legend is such a really big part of solving that late game problem of, wow, I have 3 more prizes to take and I'm not sure how to do it. And RDL is just such a big deal. So I'm gonna go for 2 cards. Didn't see exactly what I grabbed there, but we're gonna see in a second. One of those is a Fisherman for sure. Makes a lot of sense. Fisherman's such a good card. And a Fire Energy as well. So yeah, just getting more energy to be able to one-shot some stuff. But yeah, this is not a great position to be in for sure. Really wish I had that second half of RDL here, because then I would have been able to bench those down and start accelerating to it as well. So it would have been really nice. However, Pokemon is not always a game where your deck is nice to you. So I'm just going to go for... I'm not even sure what I go for here. I have the option to evolve the Magneton this turn, so I definitely got to do that. Yeah, I'm just like searching through my deck just because I've used a Twins, so yeah, there we go. So finish the Twins, sure on that. And now I'm jawing about the second half of RDL. Yeah, classic Pokemon. Don't ever expect anything of Pokemon, and then nothing will happen. You just have to expect to get all your good cards prized, and then you'll be fine. So I do have some energy though, so having some energy options is really nice. But without that RDL, it is going to be a little bit dicey. I do have a rescue energy attached to this Magneton, so I potentially have the option to hit a third Magnezone off rescue energy and keeping that Magneton and Magnezone in hand. However, the problem with that is, can I, take enough prizes before Trevor just takes the game? Because Trevor's up on prizes at this point, and he's probably going to kill this Reshiram next turn. So now he's going to be up down to 2, and at that point, like, if I attack with the Magnezone, he gets a return knockout. I don't have an option to stall a turn because he's down to 1 prize. And if I put something up that I say, hey, I'm just going to stall this, Tepig for a turn, then I just lose the game. And if I put the Emboar up, he does something even better, and he has the option to just move all the damage off the Zekrom, just so the Emboar doesn't knock out with heat. I think it's called Heat Crash. It does 80, but he's just going to, like, that's the thing about the Truth that's so cool, is you can Reuniclus all that damage so that if your opponent does 80, you can put yourself with 90 HP left, and there's no way they can do like a plus power or anything because they're trainer locked. So they have to hit you for not a knockout, and like, there's no way I'm going to retreat the Emboar. So just a really, really dicey position to be in for sure. Yeah, Trevor's just going to kill the Reshiram here, and I'm going to be forced to counter KO with this Magnezone. Trevor's going to go down to 2 prizes. Yeah, I honestly just have to pray that I'm able to hit the second half of RDL off this. If I can hit the second half of RDL off this, then might be able to stay in the game for sure. But if not, Trevor, the board position is just so dominant. Like, look at Trevor's board. It seems like he's got a lot of damage on everything, but that's so good in this deck because now he can almost, like, how much has he got? 9, 12... 13, so he can fully max one and then he can put 60 on another. So I mean, like, that's still a ton of damage, and like, you don't always want to fully max one. He will have to one shot this Magnezone, and this is the misplay. This is a massive misplay on my part. I discard the rescue energy, which is so stupid. I don't know why I did that, to be honest, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Probably because I thought yeah, I don't know, just stupid. That was a silly play. I don't think it would have mattered. I think Trevor probably still would have won the game anyway, because I wouldn't have had any option of anything to do next. But definitely not the best call. I might have been able to go Fisherman for 4 fires, Inferno Fandango, and then attack, take a hit with the Emboar, and then, but see, even then I would be forced. It takes 3 turns to get the Magnezone out because you have to manually evolve it with Magneton, right? You have to go Magnemite, Magneton, Magnezone. And Trevor's going to Seeker, which is actually an amazing play by him. So it's a really awful position for me to be in. I'm going to have to pick the Tepig up that I had planned to chuck up in the active and retreat with the next turn. If I hit the RDL off of the prizes here, which I did not. But I just am forced to Seeker up this Tepig, which really sucks as well, because now I have to promote the Emboar after Trevor's going to come up and swing for a knockout. He's just going to move enough damage to be able to knockout here. He's going to put the 60 on, and then, yeah, there we go. Hitting for 140, big money. This is the really good numbers that you can hit against Magnezone, is loading him up for 140 on a Reshiram or a Zekrom, and then swinging for a knockout for a DC. Such a good value exchange, honestly. And if I do have the Fisher in my hand, so I mean, worst case, I will be able to get the counter knockout here, and then maybe draw the RDL. But we're just gonna have to see what I hit off this. And the reason that I kept those 2 fire there is because I knew there was not enough fire in my discard, I don't think. And so I just like I wanted to have the fire in the discard. Although I guess with the lightning energy, I could have not done that. But the thing is I was saving the lightning for the Rayquaza Deoxys Legend. I guess I did have another fire, so that's where the misplay is I should have lost zone the fire instead of the rescue, because I did have enough to Fisherman this turn, and then I would have been able to at least have that as an option. I don't think it would have mattered. I still think I would have lost the game, but I think that regardless is still a misplay. Yeah, I'm gonna Inferno Fandango here, take another prize off this Reshiram, and just if I can just hit that second half of RDL, then I might be in a position where I might be able to come back. But I need to be able to hit that second part of RDL, and I need to hit a lot of really good cards. I need to hit like another fire energy, and I missed it again. It's one of those 2 prizes, and yeah, so really dicey position to be in. I'm not gonna be able to take another prize this game. Trevor's not gonna let me take another prize, so missed that one. Big unfortunate. I might have been able to come back with a fire top deck, because I did have, or actually would have needed a lightning top deck, which I don't know if I had the option for. I might have another lightning in deck, but it says you have to I'm pretty sure RDL says you have to discard either all fire or all lightning energy. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you need to discard all of one type. That's what the Rayquaza cards have like always been, and so I like not too sure. Oh, it's only discard all fire, so it actually doesn't even matter. But yeah, I was in a really dicey position here anyway, not the best position to be in, and now especially that Trevor, you know, there's not a ton of damage on Trevor's board because I took it out with the Inferno Fandango. But he just has the option to, you know, switch that Zekrom to whatever he wants. He's going to move it 10 short. This is that play that I was talking about earlier where you just move the Zekrom 10 short of being knocked out, and he's just going to swing with it for 60. And then next turn, he has the option to swing for 80. 60 and 80 is 140, which actually doesn't knock out because Emboar is 150. But if Emboar, like, I just can't attack, right? Because then I give him the damage to buff that up with. And I'm just put on a clock here, which is not the best. So I think I even top decked an energy, which what might have been a big deal if I was able to top deck an energy next turn, but I don't think it's going to matter, just because the only out that I have right now is being able to hit. I don't know how much damage I need to be able to hit everything on the board, but I think I need to paralyze heads like something like 20 plus times in a row, which is what I'm going for at this point, which is something like less than a 0.25% chance. Like, it's a very, very small decimal of a chance that I'm able to hit with this, but we're gonna go for it anyway because win cons, and it's a tail, so lost a 50-50, and that's it. And there's the RDL half. But yeah, this has been the Truth versus the Twinboar. If you have any questions about the matchup, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get to them. And also, if you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that sub button. We are doing a giveaway at 500 subscribers. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.